Who's the lurker? Hey. That looks good. That looks good. Chris is the #1 lurker. So if anybody hasn't seen the reference of my video title, have y'all seen the video going around of the guy that you follow from the open that got wrote up on? If you haven't, I can direct you towards it. But it was pretty sad and funny all at the same time. Jeremy, I didn't see it. I missed it. And I don't know how I missed it. But the funny thing was, I happened to run across it on Facebook last night. And of course, like my eyes are like, I'm that like drunk, sleepy feeling where I'm like laying in bed and I shouldn't be on my phone, but I'm like staying awake to like stare at something stupid. And so I'm sitting there and I'm going in and out of sleep. I'm like, all right, put your phone down. And I see this video. I'm like, what is this? And I watch it. And I listen to that guy's rant. And it like, I was like, ooh, this is fun. So then I'm like, all right, what is this shit all about? So I try to start like educating myself as to what is going on with this video and why and where and who and whatever. So then I start going down the wormhole, reading the comments, and dude, pretty funny, pretty damn funny. But anyway, so the guy yelling at this kid for fishing this hole too close to this other guy. Here's the story, Daniel. So there's this kid fishing the open. He rolls up on this spot, and there's another competitor in there, and this dude in this other boat rolls up, and he doesn't like it. He thinks he is fishing too close to this other gentleman, and he thinks he is encroaching on the other gentleman's water. So he tells him, I don't know this person. I don't know this other person fishing, but what you're doing is bullshit. And you need to leave, or I'm going to do donuts around your boat all day. And the kid was, you could tell he was kind of like, you could tell he was not trying to be like, I don't think he knew what to do, the kid in the boat, because he was young. I don't think he knew what to do. But the dude told him pretty much, get off the damn hole. So he was trying to run this kid off this hole. Turns out, in the video, he says, I am this person. Who he wasn't. He wasn't who he stated he was. And then the guy comes out with a video that he posts that is like an explanatory video. And he says the kid that was fishing was like a family member to him. like he knew him so well. He was like family. But in the video, when he's trying to run this other dude off, he says, "I don't know that guy." Um, but pretty funny, pretty funny. I felt bad for the kid because the kid, you know, if it would have been, he just didn't fuck with the right guy. I think he knew he could probably like push on that kid uh, because he was young. But I wish it would have been. I wish it would have been the damn right dude because he would have hopped over in that damn boat and beat the brakes off of him, or waited for him at the boat ramp or whatever. Uh, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Jeremy. Like that kid was just, and it's probably the kid was young, so it was probably he probably hadn't fished many opens. Like it's probably a really big deal for him to be out there. So you don't want to get in a fucking fist fight the first tournament of the year. Uh, but um, so it was amusing, but I don't know. Like I said, I feel bad for the kid because he got bullied. Bob, limit is 2. I should limit it to 1, but I don't mind guys getting 2. I don't mind 2. I'd like to have 2 myself, so I have backups. Um, but the next round, I'll probably double them up and do more less baits. I had 3 colors I wanted to paint these, so I painted 3. Next time I'll probably do 2. Uh, Kyle, that's I mean, it should have been fight night. You haven't seen that video on Facebook of the dude yelling at the kid for fishing the hole when you followed during the open? The dude seems like such a worm too. Bob is on Instagram, I believe. I think I saw him yesterday. The artist formerly known as Bob Stevens. Damn these things! I gotta clean out my little sticks. They're about maxed out of stuff. Kyle, are we friends on Facebook? Oh, speaking of friends, let me make this PSA real quick. So if somehow you get my number, my telephone number, and you message me for business purposes, like for baits and such, just know that you're probably going to get shitty customer service because I don't look at my text messages for business stuff. So I don't ever like that's not and it's probably going to go down the list. Uh, so that's not highly recommended because that's just one more thing I have to like look through. And I typically don't. I don't open my text messages in the morning and be like, ooh, let's see what kind of work I've got to do. Let's see who needs baits painted in my text messages. So, and I know some people give uh, some people have given out my number in the past to other people who wanted shit painted, and it's never, yeah, it's just not on my priority list. Uh, it's the same with um, it's the same with messages on my private, like my personal Facebook page. Like I don't check it for like bait stuff either, but I get a lot in there. Uh, so let that be known. If you want better responses and services, probably send me a message on Instagram, or probably Instagram's the best. Uh, Instagram's good. The Facebook Tacklecrafts page is not good because when it integrated with Instagram, it mixes up all my Facebook and Instagram messages. So if I check all my messages from Instagram and they show up in my messages on Facebook, it'll show like 20 messages on Instagram, but then all my Facebook messages that I might not have checked yet are below them and I don't see them. So I need to figure out how to filter that to where I don't get those messages. But I don't know if I can do that without unconnecting my Instagram. Do you have problems with Facebook messages on your business page? Yeah, I don't like the business page messages. See why you didn't text me back last year. That's probably why. I probably saw it and was like, oh, message just got back. And then, like, you get family messages and everybody else. Yeah, it just gets lost. What's up, Nate? Nasty Nate. Yeah, I'm not good. I'm not good about responding to text messages from my family, much less bait stuff. Yeah, AJ, I found like 10 messages in my Facebook that were unanswered, that were still highlighted, that it never showed a notification for. I just happened to be scrolling down one day, and I had all these like black highlighted messages. I was like, oh, what are these? Yeah, from like 2 months ago. I feel like a dick. I typically respond to them, but it's like, listen, I didn't see your shit. Um, but yeah, I don't. The Facebook business page is trash. It is trash, but that's not surprising. Should not be. What did I do with those pliers I just had? Am I losing my mind? Oh, there. Stuck them in the damn thing. No, because every time I get a message, I don't like. I typically, uh, especially when I'm home, like kids are there. You know how it is when you got a kid on your lap. You're like, oh, let me respond to this. Like, Nana, Nana. And the wife saying, do this, change the light bulb, whatever. I'm like, all right. Then you put your phone down, then you pick it up and start the process all over again. Your mind is erased and goes to something else. Yahoo hosed Nasty Nate. Unfortunately, I really like this one. This one's growing on me. Campers did get the first dibs. They got all the dibs. But luckily, there's more. There's more if people missed out. There's more. Don't you worry. Why can't you believe that, Burns? This shouldn't be that shocking. John, the next drop. I have a birthday party this weekend. The Beans 3-year-old birthday party is this weekend. Willy Wonka themed. I should probably. What's today? Wednesday? I need to get some of these dudes' stuff out. It'll probably be next week. And I'll probably do 2 drops next week. One at the beginning of the week, one at the end of the week. We'll be releasing. I think this will probably be my favorite bait name to date. Will be released first of next week. John, we only watched the Gene Wilder. Johnny Depp on shit. Gene Wilder. Every time we watch Willy Wonka with Gene Wilder, I don't let them watch the scene where they go through the tunnel. Oh, the rovers keep on growing, and certainly might be showing certain signs that they are growing. Woo! That part, I always fast forward that part. I think Amy let the Bean watch it one time, but I didn't want her to see the chicken get its head cut off and the worm crawling in the dude's mouth and all that kind of gross shit. It's a pretty dark visual, so but I do love the. But I was saying, anytime I watch it and Amy's sitting there, I have to remind her how awesome Gene Wilder is. No, please stop. No, don't. But the kids love it. I think that Johnny Depp one sucks. I just didn't like his Willy Wonka was not a good interpretation. It was dumb. It was just stupid. So all right, ready? They are glittery. But oh, I guess I can show y'all since they'll be coming out next week. So this will be my favorite to name bait up until this point, I think. This will be the Ratbrain. Very unique. Hey. This will be the shallow rat brain. We have a medium-sized rat brain, but this one, that one might go down in history. The rat brain. This will be everyone's favorite one to throw. Just so when somebody says, "Hey Darius, what'd you catch him on?" I caught him on this little old rat brain. Like what? Like, yeah, little crankbait, little rat brain crankbait. Yeah, Bob, it's pretty flat. It's a little beefy. It's a little beefy. Cool bait though. It's a very cool bait. Where's my medium running one? There's the medium. There's the medium diving rat brain. This is the stretch rat brain. That would be the appropriate, I think, terminology for it. The stretch, the rat brain stretch, and then there's the cold rat brain. Nate, I haven't got a depth on the stretch brains because the lake I was testing them. Oh, get this shit. The lake I was testing them on is very shallow and grassy, so I couldn't really tell, but it dives quick, which I liked that. But the rat brain medium is a pretty cool plug, but I don't know what its maximum depth will get to. Just looking at it, I'm guessing it'll get 6 foot, 5 foot. The regular brain, 3 to 4. So so back when I was a kid, my parents lived up the road here, and behind their house was Langen Park, Municipal Park, and it was a pretty good little pond. It was a municipal pond, municipal lake. Anybody from Mobile will know. And we'll know Municipal Park. I guess you. I mean, I guess there are sort of similarities. Kinda, not really. But so this park was behind my parents' house, and I grew up fishing over there, and it had pretty good fish in it. Dude caught a 10-pounder out of there. Pretty good lake. It seemed like every time I went over there, I could catch a 4-pounder, and it was pretty good. So the last year I went over there about this time of year. I started in February, So it's right up the street from my house. So I would go over there and test baits, and I would just drive over there randomly when I was, had an extra 20 minutes to blow before I got home. I'd drive over there and walk the bank for a minute and look for fish on bed. And last year, I never saw one fish on bed. And I fished and I fished and I fished for pretty much the whole year randomly. But, I wasn't like spending hours out there. I'd go out there and fish for 15 minutes and go home. And last year, for the whole year, I think I caught 2 bass. Two. And they were both about 2 pounders. And this year, I went and walked around. I didn't see anything like swimming around. It was real dead. And I started reading, or I was talking to my buddy Keith, and I was like, dude, it's like a dead zone out there. I didn't see anything alive. And he said, yeah, I think they poisoned those snails. So there's these snails that got into the lake from somebody's aquarium, I think. And they're from South America. They're like pink snails, and they have this gross larva. And the snails were a problem because they didn't want them to get into this pond. Overflows into 3 Mile Creek, which flows into the Mobile River. So if the snails get down there, which they probably already are, that would not be good. But I don't think they do well with salt water. So it's pretty salty down there, so that probably kills them. But anyway, so they killed the damn snails a couple years back. And I started thinking, and I was like, well, shit. When they killed the snails, they killed everything in the damn lake, because like there's a boardwalk that goes across it, and you used to be able to walk across that boardwalk and see a damn like 4-pounder or something stuck up there, or just cruising in the grass, and it's covered in coontail, and you'd be able to walk across the boardwalk and see a fish swimming around, but there's nothing. So I thought they were just like hiding in the grass. No, dude, they got nuked. So this whole time, I spent a year fishing over there, only to find out that they got blasted by snail poison. So that really sucks. But it's good to know, because now I won't waste my time. We did try this. We did try that bill on the Ratbrain. Realm was better. Yeah, and then you get the SB1s come next. That will be that is Burns, baby. The SB1. That is Burns OG #1 bait. They did the same thing to a pond I fished and nuked it to get rid of the rough fish, but killed all the big bass in there. Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. I really like, especially from a lake. Well, they're supposed to dig it out too, so I think that was I think that was part of the deal. They're gonna fuck it up so bad, dude. They're supposed to dig the pond out, and apparently they wanted to get the pond. They wanted to get all the snails out of the pond before they dug it out, in what I read. Get one of the Ratbrain colors be Silkies. Certainly, I could make a color to match my old middle school silky boxers. That is correct, Bob. I just paint. Burns builds them. I might give him a little direction every now and again, but he does his thing. I just give him funky shapes and funny names and funny paint jobs. Nebraska likes to kill off and drain lakes just for funsies. They sound like they're great at parties. Nebraska, get your ass together. I need to split ring. I need to split ring these things up. Jeremy Burns sent me a picture of sent me a video of the Glide. I will say the Glide looks legit. The Glide looks legit. What do you think of Burns? What did you think about Eric dunking your bait in coffee? Their bass management strategy is stock them while filling the lake and then do nothing ever again. Yeah. It's a good approach. Burns, you may show them the video. Let's see. Tap to load preview. Just a slow little swim in. Can't see the first part of the video. That's where it looks the best. I can't zoom in. It's got a sexy little sachet. Not bad for an old crank tuner. Oh, I could, Brendan, that would be a good idea. Take that vid and just put it on the Patreon. I've been trying to watch the Big Bass podcast. I can't ever finish one though. Y'all have that problem? I can't say jack shit. I still can't figure out how to clear coat. Just ruined the bait trying. And when do we get the tequila for joining the Patreon page? Did I offer tequila? I know it offered baits. I have those. They're all right here. Oh. Or do you want frozen tequila? That I can accommodate. I'm not a tequila fan. I'm more of a mezcal guy. It's even trickier out of wood, Kyle, because he can't just go pour him another one and throw some weights in it in a different spot or different. You know what I mean? Like it's got to be sealed up. It's a lot goes into a wood bait, especially prototyping. I think that's the biggest flaw with wood is prototyping it. Yeah, the Big Bass podcast has been fun to listen to for the no, Jeremy, the one with Terry Battisti and Ken Duke, where they talk about all the old like Big Bass records and all that kind of stuff. Patron Tequila Sunrise for Patreon patrons. Seems fair enough. Seems fair enough. Marty, did you change the joint to a different shape? Good question. Good question for Burns. Yeah, the one that most interests me about the Big Bass podcast is the one that they could probably do an entire like decades worth of shows on, and that's the like late 80s, early 90s California, Southern California lakes when all those lakes were popping off. Because there was some weird shit going on, dude. But it was also in the heyday of like, or not in the heyday, but it was like, it was in the infancy. I feel like of guys kind of exploiting big baits to catch big fish, and it's really when all that kind of shit first took off, and they were doing it with pretty crude tools. Uh, nothing like we've got now. Uh, but I was thinking this morning when I put this shirt on, how sickeningly accurate it's becoming. Every day that goes by, this shirt becomes more and more true. And I don't like it. Like I made it as a joke. But it is certainly reality. Brendan, if I think it was a straight joint. TK, they plan to do more on the Cali Big Bait movement. May have Mike Longwell. Apparently, Ken has spoken with him since he was exposed. Oh, wow. That would be pretty huge. Mike Long coming out after his Aquaview or die. Dude, that's what's so funny about the Aquaview is like the Aquaview's been out for damn 25 years or more. And people never really like gravitated towards it. Like it was cool technology, but like they've got forward facing sonar and all this shit. But for 25 years, they've had the availability of looking at fish with a real camera. And I don't know that many people exploited that. I know certain people did, but like the masses weren't. Ooh, let me get that. Yeah, I don't know what there's plenty. Like there's so many people down there in Southern California that like were big parts of like the big bass movement that none of us know who they are, that like are very significant. So it'll be interesting to see what all they dig up. If they would just put the live on the console graph and film, that it would be a lot more entertaining. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. And Mike Long is far from the only cheater of that period. He just went too far and didn't know when to stop. Yeah, that's the. But I remember reading when I was a kid. Like I think they caught a lot of those big fish on live crawdads, and they called it stitching. Like they would stitch worms, but I think it came from crawdad fishing, how they would stitch crawfish. But it was a whole technique. I remember I tried to do it one time where I think I read it in. It wasn't in Bassmaster. You would not get an article about stitching in California out of Bassmaster. That was something you would have to get out of like Field and Stream or Outdoor Life or something. And I remember I tried it one time. You're supposed to put the line between your fingers, and you like do like you do something like this with the line, and that's like how much line you bring in. It was something stupid. Live trout was one of the big cheats. How about that? Oh no, Bob. Rich. Hope everything's okay. Hope the old man's ticker's doing fine. You got any Tupelo burns? Burns, how about I send you a block of Osage to make one? I'll do you a real nice favor. Real nice favor. You'll have such a good time cutting it. Smooth as butter. I know, Nate. I know. Only for Burns. Only for Burns because he's such a nice guy. I'll extend the olive branch. Give Burnsy a little some of my exotic wood. Is that what the Romans are made out of? Basswood? I remember on their description they used to talk about it like it was some sort of like real fancy wood, but it wouldn't surprise me. I'd like to see the Roman operation. I wonder how many CNCs they run. Or what their facility looks like, or their garage, or whatever it is. Sinker cypress. Kyle, did you get out there with old Shelby Stanga and get you some sinker cypress? Here we go. What happened to that guy? Anybody know? I'd like to see the. I bet that Roman shop is immaculate. I bet you could eat off the damn floor. You know they've got. You know they got vacuums set up to all their damn machines where that cut and drill presses. Like all their drill presses have a damn vacuum line that comes down and sucks up all the sawdust. There's probably not a damn speck of dust in that place. Japanese cypress. That's interesting. Shelby got eaten by a gator, but the gator had to throw him up, probably. I used to love that dude, man. I went with my buddy Mike. Did you have to dive for it, Kyle? Like, was it one of those kind of trips where it had like tanks and shit, and went out in the river and swam around and looked for it? Dude, there's no telling how much of that stuff's here, honestly. Because I've never known anybody to do it here, like to dive for that shit. I'm sure there probably are, but it's probably something with the state of Alabama won't let them. Bonsai. They have the largest, oldest bonsai trees known to man. They have to get 3,000 years old for them to harvest, and they're 8 inches in diameter. Morgan, you're probably right. You're probably right. Bob, I've never been a fan of those, but I think they're beautiful. I think Herman does a wonderful job painting and building them, but they've never been on my redwood or cedar or any of that's never really been on my high priority list of good fish catching wood. Not to say it won't. David Fritz has proven that. It's just not my thing. Yeah, I think it's more dense, less buoyant, all of the above. Yeah, there's a reason why balsa is Kang in the lure crankbait world. You want a Catching Concepts gill? I didn't know he had a gill. Does anybody listen to Unknown Henson? Just out of curiosity. Talking about Kangs. Send me a picture of one, AJ. I don't know what you're referring to. I don't want to sound like an old geezer, but literally, I remember back in the day when I was always eBay shopping, which I still am, but not like then. Dude, you could buy any Catching Concepts you would ever want in any color you would ever want for $15. They were up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. As many as you wanted, whatever color, whatever, anything you would want. Just get on eBay and buy them. There was a whole, like, there were infinite amounts of Catching Concepts to be had. And then all of a sudden, they disappeared. And then all of a sudden, the price tripled. And then all of a sudden, people wanted them. It was odd. Funny how that works. Then came the fanboys. Said, "Oh, well, let me blow all my money on all these baits, and then hype them up. And then once I own them all, I'll just sell them to people for more money." Yes. Horseshoe. Oh yeah, those are nice. Very, very Jack Nicholson Joker. Which I tried to watch last night. Couldn't find it on anything. Have fun, Darius. I think Carolina Crank keeps some, then post up some to say is rare, probably. I know there's been a lot of controversy on waterwood cranks, but I like the one I have so far. I haven't put it through the ringer yet. Made from the Marupa Pedra wood. Yeah. I don't know much about that wood. Hype is a great word. Hype is a great word. I don't get, Nate. I've never understood any builder that wants to send them baits. It didn't make any sense, especially when you can paint. Like, why would you want to chip them in when? So you have to, you know, they're getting their piece of the pie to sell the damn thing. These guys aren't creating a volume at which I don't think would be impossible for them to move on their own. So if you're doing something that's limited supply anyway, that you're really not making that much money on to begin with, when you have to cut in somebody else to sell that product, that seems kind of dumb. When I think most of the people could get rid of that shit on their own. I don't know what the perk is. Maybe the perk is, hey, we'll hype this shit up and we'll turn your little shitty $15 baits into $30 baits, and then like you'll be somebody. I don't know. Selling on Etsy takes a big chunk, yeah. So there's lots of fingers in the cookie jar. That's not a very big cookie jar to begin with. But I hate to see that because I feel like I would like to see the guy doing the work get as much as he possibly can. Um, so I don't know. It's the same thing with Woodbait Nation, or what was it? Woodbait Country, which Cliff owns it now. But like all these little small builders wanting to like send baits in to get on the website, when I think they could sell them just fine themselves and not cut anybody in. It would be different if it's a mass-produced product. That makes total sense. But small batch handmade stuff, I guess you're right, AJ. It's not that hard though. It's not that hard. Yeah, JP, I think that stuff is a little bit dense. I don't know. I've never chopped one open. So the story I recently heard about certain bait makers getting influencers to hype their product is true. Bob, yeah, I mean, that's that's been true for hundreds of years. Cavemen were hyping baits back in the Cro-Magnon era. Um, I like the companies with 5,000 followers telling me they'll be able to promote and sell my product better. I haven't had anybody. Are you talking about the people that are that put the little fish in the arrow and say promote on whatever page? A fishing partner doesn't do any kind of social media, and he is behind the rest of it. I could imagine, dude, if you didn't have social media right now, like it moves so fast, like information. If you didn't know, like that would be mind-boggling, mind-boggling to know where you would be at. Kyle, you do get recognition, but you don't. You just get your name put on a website. JP, it wouldn't hurt. Just be a lurker, bro. Just lurk. Just lurk. Send you a picture of a bait that's been out 6 months. Hey man, have you tried this Chapo? Yeah, bro. Like 2 years ago. Man, they're good. Hey man, I got this stuff called Maxent. It's working real good. Have you tried that? Yeah, I have. Hey man, I got this thing called a chatterbait. They've been eating the shit out of it. Did you ever throw one? Yeah. JP, how old are you? Wait till he finally hears about forward-facing sonar. And it's probably not going to be Garmin. It's be like, have you heard about this Lowrance live scope? Yeah, Garmin started it. Marty must be watching Red Crest. Dude, that shit's so whack. Like they started talking about it. I saw somebody post about Red Crest and it was something about Lake Martin. And I thought they were hyping it up for like the future. Apparently it's like now, I guess. I don't know. I can't keep up with those dumbasses over there. I'll leave that to Burns to sort through that riddle. Yeah, Lake Martin is probably not the best choice. This time of year, it could be decent. Go up the river, get a little dirty water, uh, catch some big largies. Not huge, but there's decent sized largemouth up there. Uh, Not a great lake. Like of all the lakes in Alabama, why go to Martin? I guess because they'll catch a lot. You're right, Nate. When they have the 15-day long tournaments, I don't know who's in first or who's in last, and I don't think it really matters until the end. Like it's all pretty much irrelevant. Connell. Imagine that. So is the red crest a big deal? Is that one of their bigger tournaments? Essentially the classic. That's pretty sad. That up until today, which is apparently when it started, was the first time I've heard anything about it. All I've seen about is the damn whatever that's $5,000 power pole trolling motor is. Well, I really don't see how they're going to survive. I guess they will. Something will happen. They'll sell out. I don't know who would buy them, but all right. Let's see. I need these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 26. 27, 28, 29. More Stone is my personal state Satan. I'm not a Stone fan. I'm not a Stone fan. Him and his car salesman demeanor really tweaks my melon. Wrong cards. Where are my business cards? Not here, not here, not here, not here. Not there. Not over there. I just happen to open a new box. All right, I'll start stuffing cards. Brendan, there's plenty of people that can afford it. The question is, who would want it? Because you've got probably a good group of the main people who would be interested in it already in ownership. Like if I had anything like that, you could always probably fall back on, probably get Johnny Morris to buy it. You were missing it. They are all catch them big ones. We do not call 2 or 3 pounders in Texas giants, but they will always catch them giants. That was true. Anthony, I didn't watch. I didn't watch the last. I catch a little bit of a live. I haven't watched full episode of Bass Tournament in quite some time. I can't stand to listen to him. So and so told me they were catching every fish on a Berkeley, whatever. I guess Berkeley is a big sponsor. I'm sorry, but if it was that good, you wouldn't have guys paying 40K and go through the bass opens to get back on the elites. Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, not to beat this dead horse, but they started out with no entry fees. Come to us. We're going to be real pro. We're not going to have entry fees. Well, they got entry fees. So they're fishing for their own money again. Oh, we fish for every available fish, so everything you catch counts. Bass is weak. Bass is archaic. 5 fish is out. Well, got that back. So I mean, they basically just turned themselves into BASS with the exception of a live weigh-in, and I like the live weigh-in, whether it's better for fish or not. Ben Milliken did come in 5th at the Open. That was pretty awesome. I was pretty excited to see that he did well. I will say Eufaula sets up great for a guy like Ben, though. It'll really be fun and interesting to watch how he does across the rest of the board. Like I would like to have seen how, like, if that tournament would have been on like Ross Barnett. I would have been interested to see that. I looked at getting into some Virginia tournaments, Angler's Choice. 1,800. It's pretty potent. And they got plenty of them down there in Eufaula, AJ, so he was right at home. They probably weren't as crowded. Crowded to us and crowded to y'all were probably two different things. He was probably like, oh, these aren't crowded, these are normal. Later, Bob. Yeah, 900 split is pretty beefy. I think you're right, Morgan. Out of all the YouTubers, Ben is certainly the most talented. But Ben came up tournament fishing. You know what I mean? Like, it's not nothing new to him. But the one thing that he's got on his side compared to other people is Ben hasn't been dicking off for the last like 6-7 years fishing. Like, when all these other dipshits were fishing with like gummy worms and shit, like, Ben was out there being legit for the most part. I mean, I'm sure he's done some dumb shit, but like, he's been honing his skills and he's been fishing an insane amount. And I think you can tell that Ben loves bass fishing. Like, I think you can kind of tell with like the Googans, they like bass fishing. Like, and it affords them, like, they can make a lot of money bass fishing. But I don't watch their videos and get the impression that these guys really like deep down are like in love with bass fishing. Like I don't know. I feel like they're like the type that go out and they like do a show or something or talk about fishing all day. Then they get rid of like they get done after doing like a seminar and they're like, oh, fuck that place. Like I'm sick of this shit. Not like having like a buzz and being like, damn, that was fun. Like they get tired of fishing, right? Ben's the types that I don't think he gets. He doesn't get tired of fishing. But like a Rob Turkla, like that. I don't think that dude. If money was not a player, I don't think he would be like, oh my god, I can't wait to go fishing today. Like, you know what I mean? But I think Ben would still fish at the level he does if he were getting paid or not. Yeah, Ben is the real deal. Even though he tried to tell me the Sixth Sense movement was a better crankbait than a WEC E1, I'll let that slide. I'll let that slide, Ben. But beyond that, I hope he does well. He ain't making build your own boat 1v1v1v1v1. Yeah, you're right. You are right. He was a lowly lure painter back in the day. I forgot about that. He used to do those painting videos. I actually liked watching. I enjoyed watching his painting videos. I haven't watched any of his videos in a while because I felt like they were slowly becoming all the same. Rackley was the only true angler of the Guggen squad. Yeah, but I feel like Rackley has lost his. I feel like once they started making money, Rackley kind of he lost his edge a little bit. I watched one of his videos not too long ago, and it just seemed like it just seemed like a job. Like if you watch one of Ben's videos, it doesn't come off like a job. Like the video I watched Rackley put out, it just seems like he woke up and was like, "Fuck, I gotta go film a damn fishing video. I gotta go bass fishing today and film it." Like it just seemed like it was like a pain in the ass. Ben, he's fired up. He's ready to go. He's excited. And I think that's what has made Ben so popular is that he's still like got that burn. I don't feel like any of those other dudes got the burn. John, maybe. Turkla, certainly not. Uh, which he really never did. Um, but Ben did. One Rod lives in my general area and has blown out so many local spots, it's not even funny. I could see that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel bad because Rackley was legit, and he was like early on, he was like excited. But he doesn't seem excited to go fishing anymore, which is a shame. Something that you love that got you into it and made you a bunch of money. I mean, I don't make any money, and I still love painting. So uh, I don't know what they're so burned out on. They should be the happiest people in the world. You know what they say though, money can't buy you happiness. I was wondering if this game could probably cast a big caster. Oh, was that in his A&M days? I could never stomach the one rod, dude. I never understood why he was so popular. But I feel like he was the biggest one out of all of them to begin with. Like before the Googan Squad was anything, I feel like One Rod had like he was the closest to 500,000 subs before any of them, and then they just blew past him. Um, what's in the cup? A nice cold glass of Red Diamond sweet tea. Delissimo. Um, Morgan, did you talk to him or were you starstruck? You're like, holy shit, there's Steven Reckland. What is the Googans even doing anymore? Do they put out media? Not to get off on a Guggen squad, but I mean they were pretty influential on the market there for a while, and I don't know that you see their influence as much at this day and age as you did. Have the brakes just got thrown on? Are they trying to resurge with Zaldane and Connell to give them a little bit of brand legitimacy? Which I didn't really buy into that. It didn't make a whole like. John was throwing a canine on an iRod not long ago. Shows he does not fully commit to the brand he used to own. I think John's always been like that for the most part. They're all hunting in Florida. One Rod is the guy that missed Google stock at $1. I bet he wishes he had a piece of the Google bait co and moved to Texas. Yeah, probably. But he was probably doing fine without him. But he would have been doing real fine with him. Um, what about Tyler Anderson, dude? Dude, he was from Austin. That kid was always, he kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Brat would kind of be a good term. Kind of the vibe I got off of him. He just seemed like one of those little fucking Westlake rich kids that was like, you know, if somebody that's not from like Westlake talks to you, it's like, ooh, who are you? Ooh, why are you talking to me, scum? Yeah, I don't know if he was full trust fund, but good, close enough. I need to call Amy back. Yes, I need to get off of here and go do something. Oh, there she is. Hello, my sweet. I was just about to call you. Excuse me. But I don't know what's happened to him. I remember when he was doing the when they let him edit the Strike King videos. What was that series that he did for Strike King that they let him edit? Chris, how do you know that? How do you know these numbers? But you got to think how many people they're paying, dude. Just think how many people get a piece of that 200%. By the time they pay taxes and all the other bullshit, and then they pay everybody that's got their hand in that jar, it's not a lot. AJ, I don't either. Like when they first came out, I enjoyed them. Like I wasn't gonna go buy a bunch of Guggen stuff, but I thought the reason I like the Guggens, for one, my main admiration for the Guggens was that they were able to fish for a living without having to fish professionally. They didn't have to wear a stupid jersey, and they didn't have to run around and travel the country and pay entry fees to be a professional fisherman. They were professional fishermen just by going out and fishing, and I thought that was admirable. And and it was a change in the industry that we hadn't seen, and it was a way for people who really were passionate about fishing to make a living fishing without having to be a pro. Um, Kings of Bass, that's what it was called, and that was so incredibly hard to watch. It would give me seizures. Um, but I'm glad when they gave him when they shooed him out of the editing room for that. Um, yeah, what's wrong with the baits? I mean, they're literally just Strike King baits for the most part. They're all a copy of something else. I wouldn't think they're any worse or better than anything else. What's everyone's favorite cake flavor? Oh, dude, Kings of Bass. That was such a cool show, but those first ones were real hard to watch. Overpriced. I haven't priced them. Brendan, I don't know how you can say overpriced because everywhere I've ever been in the last year has had them on sale. Like anywhere down here, literally, you walk into, uh, Guggen shit is on sale because people bought so heavy on it. Uh, Agreed, Jeremy. Why buy the copy if you can get the real thing? Because kids like to slurp the Guggen Ratbrains. And if Rackley tells you to throw the Mondo worm, you throw all your old monsters in the trash can because an old monster won't catch a bass, only the Mondo worm will. I'll just stick to my Zoom. But it's going to be the same. Like, history always repeats itself. So all the 14-year-olds buying Guggen shit right now, I was them in 1997, except the Guggen squad was Hank Parker, Jimmy Houston, and Bill Dance, and Roland Martin. That was the Guggen squad of my generation. Uh, Bill Dance sold the damn Dancing Eel, the bullshit, whatever. They had some good stuff. You know, Bill sold me on the damn spitting image and that kind of stuff. But it's exactly the same when now that I've grown up, like I bought this because of the OG Guggens. Bill Dance sold me this piece of shit. When the 14-year-olds now get to be my age, they're going to look back and be like, those damn Guggens, they sold me this stupid ass frog. They like it's exactly the same. It's just packaged different. Rather than some old guys that remind you of your father, uh, it's the kids from high school that are filming videos and you look up to. So Tyler sent me a video for scent, an argument for scent. What is this shit? Dude's throwing goobers in there. What is that? Burn sent me something. Beans cake flavor. Oh. I don't know. I'd just get her white. It's the Burn Squad. The hollow body frog punching again. It works. It works. I think I had a fish. I did. Break a knot on 65-pound braid from pulling. It like pulled it. strip the knot out. It was a big one. It was probably the biggest bite I ever had on it. It was in all res, flipping a mat, not a mat. It was a mat actually. It was a corner of a mat. Just bought a kit off a TV infomercial back in the day and used to slay with those when I was a kid. Which one? Banjo Minnow? Yeah. The Mighty Bite. The thing is the Googans at the height of their Googanness are still kids. Like, they're young adults, if you want to call them that. And they get a pass for selling dumb shit because they're not even really selling dumb shit. But like Bill Dance was like in his late 40s selling us a 15-inch buzzbait with a straight face. So if anybody should have a finger pointed at him, it's Bill Dance. Man can sell sand at the beach and look you in the eyes and say, you need this 15-inch buzzbait. You will catch more bass, and believe it. And then lay on his couch in his recliner with his blanket of money and never cross his mind. Man, I just ripped off thousands of people on this stupid buzzbait. Yeah, they're not trying to be innovative. They don't need to be. They just need something to sell people. It's pretty easy. You know what I mean? Like, we have people that follow us, that like us and admire us. We would like to have our name on something that's something we can fish, and we can provide you the baits we like, whether we make them or not, or we'd like to make them so we can sell them to you. But it made sense. I mean, if they're going to go out and film a video fishing a lizard, why film Zoom? Might as well just get their own. Bill did shoot a bunch of his videos back in the old days. I remember he used to go to what was the name of that place over there on the Georgia border? Just got bought. It was real famous. Something Plantation. Began with a B. Well, I kept wanting to say Bohemian Plantation, but it's not. It's Bowl. Bienville. That's it. Bienville Plantation. Yeah, I know. I used to do a lot of videos down there. The helicopter lure is a huge following in the butt plug world. Yeah, the Bienville Plantation. I always wanted to go down there, but apparently it's been sold now. Scott Martin's getting paid to go down there and do promo videos of the Bienville Plantation, but it still looks good. I'd like to go to the Bienville Plantation. Bill was not the hover lure. I had a customer in the club that hated Bill. I've never known anybody to hate Bill. Jeremy, is that where he fishes that creek? Where he catches like 6-pounders in the damn creek? Morgan, I did go to Yamamoto's ranch in Texas. I fished his lakes. I stayed at his house. Drank wine with Beverly, his wife. But you don't want to go toe to toe with her in the wine sipping. She'll plant your ass. Lots of Cincos. I think it was like 15 that I eventually pulled off of logs and snagged. Burns, did your buddy buy the 15-inch buzzbait or the dancing eel? I told y'all my dad had a buddy, or we were going fishing, and he's like, I got a tip from this guy I know. Said he was up at the lake last weekend, caught him real good. Said we need to go buy a couple of them dancing eels. I was like, nah, we ain't buying the damn dancing eel. He's like, he said he caught him real good on it. I was like, I don't care. Like, I'm not dancing eeling. I don't care if that's like, if that's what it takes. I just won't catch them. Morgan, when we went up there, we were sitting in the kitchen with Beverly getting sauced up, and my buddy Jeff asked Beverly, and I knew the answer because I'm a nerd, but Beverly was sitting beside Jeff, and he Jeff doesn't know anything about fishing, and he's like, and he's from New York, so like Staten Island, New York City, like New York, not like rural. Um, so he was sitting there asking Beverly, he's like, so what's y'all's number one bait? And she was like, the Cinco. And he said, what does Cinco mean? And I thought, oh, it means flash in Japanese. So she was sitting there, and she might have been pretty deep into the bottle. And she starts looking up. And I know she's heard it 10 million times, but she couldn't think about it. Like she was blank. Like he like put her on the spot, and she said, "I don't know." I said, "What do you mean you don't know?" She said, "I don't know." She said, "Ask Gary." I said, "Where's Gary?" She said, "I'm gonna call him." So Gary was at down in Florida at a FLW tournament or something. She called Gary, and she said, "Gary, what does Cinco mean?" Put him on speaker. And he said, "Oh, it means flash." And she's like, "Oh, TK and Jeff are here, and a couple other guys, and Jeff wanted to know what Cinco meant, so I couldn't remember, so I had to call you. So we sat there, and Gary's like, "How's the fishing?" I was like, "Sucks, Gary." He's like, "Oh." He said, "Have you been to the pond over there?" I was like, "No, we didn't get access to that one." And he's like, "All right, tomorrow, go down and drive down the road, go by the barn, and then go around and fish the pocket and whatever." I was like, "All right." I said, "But bite's been real tough." And he's like, "All right." I said, what would you fish tomorrow?" Well, that's what Jeff asked me. He said, "Gary, what do I need to fish with tomorrow?" And he said, "Take a Cinco, weightless Texas rig." And he said, "And just throw it out there and don't move it until you get a bite." And Jeff was like, "Okay." So Jeff didn't know any better. So we go down there, and me and Jody start going around the damn pond, and we're like, I'm throwing like a chatterbait or something, and Jody's throwing a spinner bait, and we're just like walking, we're moving. And Jeff and my dad get out lawn chairs and sit on the bank, and they both rig up Cincos, and they sit in their chairs and they throw it out like they're catfishing, and they just sit there and let their Cincos sit on the bottom where Gary told them to fish, and they start ripping them, dude. So we're walking around the pond and we just see like fish splashing in the middle of the lake, like getting drug in. Well, by the time we get around the whole lake, it's probably been like an hour and a half or so. We finally get over there. Like, y'all catching them? I'm like, dude, we probably caught 25. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, we're about to have to go up to the Gary's to get some more Cincos. We're about out. It's like, come on, dude. I'm like, yeah, you just throw it out there, you just let it sit there, and then you just get a bite. It's like, what? Like, yeah, it's crazy. So Gary literally from Florida told them where to go, what to throw, and how to throw it, and that shit worked to the T. And we were like, we would catch like one or two doing what we were doing, but that was not the deal. Um, but I started thinking about it, and I was like walking back around the pond trying to like figure out what was going on, and I was like, dude, if you live like, if this was like a river system or a big reservoir, how would you ever? How could you ever do this? Because they're literally throwing at the same spot and waiting for like a fish to swim by and see their worm, or the fish are already sitting there. I don't know, but like, I was like, I would never catch these fish because I could not. You couldn't take the time to find them. You know what I mean? Later, Rich. Feeds them Cinco shaped fish food. Oh. Looking back, bass fishing was a mistake. I should not have bass fished in Gary's Lake. I should have went bluegill fishing. I didn't realize that Gary had the Mondo bluegill. I remember when Gary was he was fishing that FLW up on Kentucky Lake, and he was fishing 20 feet of water, and he was letting his Cinco sink weightless in 20 feet of water. Like, damn, this guy's dialed. But how do you even find that bite? You know what I mean? I'm trying to find a picture of this bluegill. I want to say it was the state record. No shit. I think we weighed it, and it was like 3 pounds or something. Stupid. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Should be coming up on the gram. There it is. It was a mutant, dude. Like, that didn't really even, like, that picture makes it look small compared to what it was in real life. Like, when that son of a bitch came up, uh, it was nuts. But after I caught that one, um, I started thinking I would much rather have fished for these and caught these than try and dick around with bass. Those would have been way more fun. But I didn't. I didn't know. I didn't know there was that size bluegill in there. So, all right. Anyway, we'll start. I'll start getting baits prepped for tomorrow. What is this? Purple crappie? I don't know. Please do not remove the glass eyes. But anywho, oh, it's got a nice run on it. Dude could have sanded that out. You can't see it. Nate, it was over 2. It was a lot. The gill could eat the native gill. Pretty damn close. Pretty damn close. Yeah, this is actually. It dwarfs this thing a lot. You like those eyes? It's looking at you. After I showed Beverly the picture, she was like, "Why didn't you keep it?" I was like, "I didn't know I could." She's like, "Yeah, you should have brought it up here." Oh, well, next time I will. And then they sold the damn place. No, Brendan. That's mine. I don't know. I don't know who painted this, but it looks like they highlighted the one that big would probably taste like cotton balls. You're probably right. But the funny thing about Beverly, she was like, "Oh, you want to catch bluegill?" It's like, "Yeah." She said, "Go in the freezer and get shrimp." I think it was shrimp. Because I told her, I was like, "Your bluegill are a little bit tricky to catch." And she said, "What'd you fish with?" And I said, I told her. She's like, "Oh, you need shrimp." I was like, where do I get shrimp? And she's like, "Oh, we've got them." And she said, "They're in the freezer." She said, "If you'd have taken the shrimp down there, a little piece of shrimp," she said, "you'd have caught every one of them." I was like, "You shitting me?" She's like, "No, they love shrimp." Um, but I never would have guessed that. But those fish, I think, were so in tune with eating like pellet food, like they had to really like it. Uh, but I would have brought some. I really don't want to paint this thing. It's got like fish eyes and a clear coat runs. Oh well. All right. Good talking to you, gents. We'll catch up later. Y'all be good. We'll see what's going down tomorrow. Thanks everybody that got on a 1.0 from yesterday. The feral. We'll do it again once I get all these shipped out. We'll start it all over again with the Ratbrain. Y'all take it easy. See y'all.